Sorry for the slurp. Just seeing if this gin and tonic is ready. And the stream is up, so, oh wow. So we're currently watching a cutscene at the start of the Crew 2 beta opening. And I see, actually in the video preview, that it says no video. So is that going to be for the whole of the beta, maybe? So let's see. Let's get to the menu, and let me just check if it's allowed to stream or not. I mean, if it's not, then we're going to cancel actually doing this. I thought we could have a look at it. I guess we can't. That's great. So what do we do? Do we just have... do we just bail out of it now? Or do I just narrate what I'm doing? Okay, let's have a go at narrating this. Because that would be hilarious. I have no expectation of exited block scene. Okay, so you can. So is it just the intro stuff and the menu? What about a cue? There we go. Well, that's odd that the entire intro segment was behind no streaming block. I didn't see anything on boot up that said we shouldn't stream this. It's an open beta, so like Onrush and the other games before it, I take the stance that, you know, if anyone can actually download the thing, should be able to stream the damn thing. I'm actually going to close the video preview, so I'm not going to know from now on at what points the stream is going to be blackened or, you know.
Okay,
blocked.
guys, come on, get a move on. We're going on soon.
Okay, so there's a video
Luke
at the
Carter.
moment. This might be blocked.
Hey, call me
Oh no,
hero.
it's not. It's
Pleasure
good.
to meet you.
Okay,
I was
well,
beginning to think you and your driver weren't going to make it. I'm from Live, the camera company sponsoring this race, and I'll be heading up this event. Walk with me.
Look, thanks again. I'm really stoked about this. Thanks for giving us the shot.
Don't mention it. We're always on the lookout for new talent.
I haven't
You and
actually
your friends
played
fit
the
bill.
Crew 1, so I
I
don't
have to tell
know
you,
how the game's
you out there
framed.
yourselves in this race, and you'll see a lot of doors opening up for you.
Gotcha. We won't disappoint you.
Disappoint me? That's not what this is about. It's your chance to impress people who matter. The events my company organizes are a feeder for every racing family out there. You...
Oh no, is this like,
yeah.
Oh yeah, this is such a big deal for us.
Gosh, what is it? Which grid game is it?
No dice.
I have to get fans, do I?
Nobody wants to see nobodies.
Trust me. Just show the world what you've got this one. You'll get followers.
It's kind of weird, was it? Was it Tony
Run a
Hawk
good
that
race,
started the
you'll
whole
find your
get
options
fans
and your followers increasing.
genre?
We'll give it our
Kinda
best.
weird.
Hero, my friend. I don't want your best. I want legendary badass.
Actually, it might have been one of the
Anyway,
football
Something
games,
about putting on a race?
like
Best of
FIFA
luck.
or something,
Okay, thanks.
where you have to get your club to have a social news.
You're good to go, buddy. Break a leg. Hell, break
Stop
anything you
calling
have
me
to.
a buddy.
Drive like I know you can,
Gosh.
and we'll be in the big leagues in no time.
Okay, so do we just start racing right now, or is this a... Does it go to a menu? It's an interesting loading animation for that live thing. Is that the subtitle for the game? Oh wow, look at that swell.
Welcome to the city that never sleeps. In this event, you'll see New York taken over by racers in a way you never could have imagined. It's not just a city. It's
Track
a playground
record
for the
share.
best pilots and drivers of today and tomorrow.
The subtext there was, well, okay, the actual subtext, not the subtext. The text below the text was grey, and I couldn't read it because everything behind it blended in with it. Can we start? Ah, so here we go. Should I crash into people? Is a great question. Okay, nice destructible scenery.
We're here today to watch the first episode of this year's Live Extreme series. In this new season, talented newcomers have a shot at taking on established stars and a chance to impress all the racing teams out here.
There's no
And
sort
believe
of
me, They're
minimap
watching.
or
And just as important, they need to
sensory
generate
awareness
excitement.
apart from the
That's
little
how
arrow
fans
to
spot
say
them.
someone's right
And
behind
that's
me.
what it's all about,
How?
right? Become
How
a
did Fergus
racer,
overtake me
steal
so
the
quickly?
show, and see your follower numbers soar.
Because I did not brake for that at all. Woo. So is the little lightning bolt in the bottom left meant to indicate that I'm doing impressive stuff to get followers or something? I don't...
Speaking of
Or is that gonna mean- oh,
get a load
right.
of that jump.
It's a
There
boost,
you
I
have
get
it,
you.
folks. The numbers are going through the roof.
Oh, I overcooked that a little. Hey Paul, how you doing? Okay, curbs aren't a problem. Can I hit those? I can, okay. That's good.
And now live goes to the extreme.
What? Raise eyebrow? Am I on drugs? Okay. Is that some word loading thing? Hold to get extra speed. Oh, okay. I gotta wonder, why did everything warp? I don't really understand it.
You'll gain followers by winning, of course, but that's not the only way. Do a spectacular stunt like this, and the fans will come a-running. Check it out.
I mean, I didn't really do anything beyond go over a little jump. Okay. So notice in the car race, the speedometer had a second ring. And I guess it was the maximum speed that I'd gone or something. I couldn't really work out what it was telling me when I was trying to look at it. Okay, I can't see myself catching up.
And I believe we're watching a new star exploding onto the circuit.
I don't believe that. Ooh. So I did try and steer, but I guess it's less responsive when you're pulling back.
We kick it up a notch for the grand finale.
Okay, so at least the ground's not warping yet. So what's the purpose of doing this sort of like marathon sports event where you just keep swapping
This is how
between?
it is
I
these
don't...
days. Just being a good pilot isn't enough anymore.
Well, that's
You've gotta
interesting for
shine
the
on
speedometer,
and
having
off
it
the course.
be the,
Staying sharp on the social media side.
Why
It's
do you
simple
call that
math.
gyro
The more followers
for
you
the
have,
ground
the
sense?
more
I'm not
followers
even
you'll
sure.
get. Sign on with your first racing team, and the second will start looking at you. Pile up supporters, and the contracts will be knocking on your door. To put it another way, a driver who attracts enough followers will open up new styles of racing. We call them disciplines. You'll call them awesome. And isn't awesome what we're all after?
Steering left and right in the airplane is really hard. It's just not very responsive. Ooh. Yeah, I'm not gonna.
From the heart of New York City, this was the Live Extreme Series, Episode 1. Thank you for watching, and remember...
Maybe it's
follow us
fixed
on
if you're
all
not
social
level.
media.
That's a good one.
cool. It is official, my friend. We have made the big time. We're still gonna have to prove ourselves, but that's more than fine. You know, we've got the right stuff. There's so much to try. Boats, planes, all kinds of cars. It's like the world's biggest buffet menu, and we gotta take a bite out of everything.
What
We're
about
talking
all kinds of
street racers,
boats?
off-road, pro racing, freestyle. We could
That's
take a
kinda
test
cool.
run with any of them. Or if you ask me, do them all. Pick which one you want to try first and let's go. My friend, welcome to the Motor Nation.
So is this the game that was... Yeah, I was going to say,
We've got
that's the
4
whole
ways
of
we can get this puppy rolling.
the USA.
It's your pick. How do you want to start?
I wanted to do bike races. Really interesting vector graphics they've got here. Oh, okay, and it drills down to pseudo satellite. Okay, so it's... I thought it would be a little more detailed than that, but okay, that's... I'm still impressed. I mean, that's pretty sweet. So if I go to Amarillo and drill in, I guess we're going to see traffic just drive around like a simulation game. Do they stop at the junctions? They do. So it's got rudimentary. Okay. All the buildings obviously are just generic crap. I'm impressed though that it can. Okay, those the step nuts are kind of basic. And what the hell is happening with that texture there? Hello, Zed fighting. I guess that's because it's the edge of the road fighting with the. How is it I can have a whole country to zoom in on, and I find the one texture? Oh, okay, it's happening over here as well. I was going to say it might be in where there's shade, but no, there's a definite sort of footprint of a building. You know, it's because here there's an area where it's not having an issue. And it's still the same texture that looks like it's bleeding through. It looks just like there's two on top of each other. And then there's like a really plain... It kind of looks like they've textured the floor for one building, and yet adjusted other things. Okay, let's... oh, it's happening over here as well. Wow. Okay, let's pick another random spot. Is the ground all good? These controls are a bit weird. It looks okay. I can see that the shadows are doing what shadows do. That is so weird that we've... As I said, we found the one spot where there might be a minor issue. Right, let's try and find it again. It was over here, wasn't it? No. Yeah. Oh well, right. So that's Amarillo, and they've got like a really massive skyscraper for no good reason. And a pencil eraser shaped building. That's a cool looking building though. I wonder if that's got a specific name. I'll have to look that up later. Right, so we're zooming out. Wait, what was that? Texas, what? Panhandle. Oh, right, okay. Mississippi Delta. Miami looks a bit bigger than it should do. That's a bit of a bloated dong there. Anyhow, let's have a look at boat racing again. Free vehicle video editor. Okay, so that's going to get me some YouTube production value.
Listen up, people. I'm looking for a driver. If you can handle yourself on the water, and in the air, and behind the wheel, obviously, though we'll come to that later, then maybe you've got what my team needs. Beat the posted time for the trial, and there'll be a spot for you. Fail, and well, I'm sure someone else will grab the opportunity.
Racing on spec.
Alexis Kendrick
Gross.
Racing deals strictly with winners. And I'm Alexis, so I would know. Three, two.
This music's a bit hype building. I like how they do the cuts there. Oh, my boat looks awesome. It's kind of dumb that you've got to hold down to get a bit of an extra boost. It just means I can't finesse the steering so much. This music's pretty chill. I do like how solid the game looks. There's not much aliasing in the foreground and the background.
Congratulations,
as well,
you got the gig.
so. Nice.
Let's go someplace we can talk about what happens next.
I do like how much effort nowadays has been put into making something. It doesn't have to look photorealistic, it just has to look like it's not a video game, if that makes sense. It doesn't, things shouldn't just pop up in the distance. They shouldn't flicker. So it looks good. Pro Racing Family. Okay, those ice cubes aren't melting quickly enough. There's some definite pleasantness to vector graphics when they can animate like this.
That wasn't half bad. I'm looking forward to having you on the team.
It's a strong visual
There's
style,
still
you
some
see.
things you need to work on, but that's okay. I'll teach
Like
you
your
what you
shadow,
need to know.
maybe?
It'll be hard work, but you'll see the results on the track, or the waves, or in the air. So, this is the pit. It's where the pro racing community preps. Now you can hang out here too. You belong.
Her lip sync's kind of
That's
bad.
Clarence Bishop.
Hey,
the
Clarence.
third. He's the reigning champion
really?
around here. Racing royalty, really. His father and grandfather were both champions too. Which helps explain his attitude. If you start winning, he won't be.
I don't
happy
think I
with you.
like this style
Clarence is
of
old
having
school.
like a
Doesn't think
narrator.
anything needs to change. A lot of drivers see things differently.
Because
Me,
they
I
could
think
easily have
there
taken
needs
the
to be some
people out
balance.
and just at least have
You'll
the
decide for
camera
yourself,
on
I guess.
the racers and not have the whole.
Just in case you're wondering, there's
Here's
a
an
powerboat
audience,
with your
here's
name
some
on it
narrating.
waiting for you in the shop. Don't thank me. You've earned it. And you're gonna need it. The rest of
It-
these you can buy later. Not that one, little grasshopper. Not yet. You need to find
dialogue.
the winner's circle a few times first.
I kind of want to skip this, and I normally would when I'm racing because it's just nonsense. But it's a little look where we want to have a look at how they're describing their own game. So, okay, cool. Get your powerboat bit. What? We're a first-person game, aren't we? Oh, the camera is oddly elastic. It has a deceleration to it. That's a bit. Oh gosh, look at that. See how it takes a few frames for it to stabilize?
My past, my present, my future, my life,
So they're doing a really interesting
my present,
way to alpha that. by reducing the amount of pixels that bleed from the fence as you step back. So it's a far cheaper rendering cost, and obviously the cost of making it look like a dithered mess.
My present. My future.
You see how it gets a bit pixely.
My past. My present. My future. My life. My past. My present. My future. My life.
But yeah, look at that. Ugh. Anyhow, yeah, her shadow's low res. Can I talk to you? Okay, I managed to select the car, got it. That's a really cool fade. That it does it through the data of the object. Free vehicle, okay. Texture's kind of butts, but okay, let's grab it. I do like a good green. Offshore market set. There was definitely a trend from like, was it PlayStation 2 or PlayStation 1?
In case you hadn't noticed, now
That
we can
era
edit
where they
videos
introduced
through the
like
live app.
virtual
Just
characters
open
that
the
could
map,
take you through
search
things
through
like
it,
skating
and you'll
games
find
and the
the
rest.
tools you need.
And it
I'll
felt
be
really
posting those
cheesy at the
babies 'cause there's
time.
Tons of new followers.
Also because they were so low res that you just sort of at least I face palmed whenever I saw it. And we just kind of stuck with them. Let's go for an actual race, because it is a car game as well.
Hey there. I'm Wade Parker. Maybe you've heard of me. And this is my show. I'm looking for someone interested in racing off the beaten track. And I'll loan you a ride to see if you've got it. What is it? Take the keys, my friend, and we'll find out. If you win, you keep the car and get a shot at running some real races. You lose, I take my ride back and it's so long. But you're not gonna lose, are you?
Hopefully not, but you know.
I didn't think so.
This gin and tonic has done a number on me.
3, 2, 1.
Okay, I'm not sure why there's a ghost. Yeah, see the pink line in the bottom left? I'm not entirely sure what that's for. I mean, it's not red, is it? Oh! Yep, we're gonna hit something. Okay, it's good to know there's no destruction. Oh, is it just the rev limiter where it has to go up a gear when it hits that? I do like how it segments the cactus up into little cactus-like cylinders. I don't know why, but I've bumped into a few games this gen where steering just feels really... I don't want to say laggy, just it doesn't feel substantial enough. It always feels like you're just tickling, you know, I want to go this way a little. Onrush I really didn't like because it just didn't feel like my input was doing much. This game does it far better, but even still it offers me the ability to steer, but it feels, as you saw with that crash in the boat race. I'm steering left, I'm steering right. It's both laggy and just not substantial enough to actually make me confident that I'm steering an awful lot. Because I'm... Right. So I'm full lock right now. It's just, yeah. I can't go through there, can I?
Not bad. You and me, we got some things to discuss about your future. Come on, base camp, and your new car races.
While you're here, check out the Storm X display.
I would have expected more dust to be kicked up steering and to have a bigger effect as I steered. That's all. See, once you've seen the first introduction of, hey, you want a race, it's like, get on with it, game. I know you've got to do loading and stuff, but the downtime between races, I feel, is just a bit too substantial to... It's just... Are you really loading a... Yeah. It was loading a cutscene. It still hadn't actually finished loading because those flags loaded in after.
So welcome to this little slice of off-road paradise.
And it's...
You'll find everything.
Assuming that most of the objects in the background had been loaded for the race that we just did, what did it substantially have to load to play this scene? And I need to stop using the word substantially because I noticed I've used it like 10 times already. But
he thinks he's number one around here, but
that's even more weird.
that tree hugger just how
Hey, Taz.
He likes to
I'm
ride
busy
out
at the moment.
and explore. Lots of
But
folks around here doing
that's really odd that the logo on the box
They
that we're not going to see while we're
focus on racing
driving
instead.
is higher texture quality than the textures on the side of the car. How does that make sense?
And mine. And like I said, you can go to the shop and pick up the car that's waiting for you there. Call it an investment in your future. The rest of them there, those you'll have to earn.
They honestly could have had that audio over the top of the menu. And they could have trimmed it up. It's just... That's a whole minute after the race of just sitting watching them say, you can pick a car now. And now I have to wander around in this really awkward thing of picking a car. They used to have menus for this, and you'd use a D-pad to just down to hit X, you're done. I just... It visually, it's cool. But it's just so tedious that... it's belaboured. I think that's my point. If the game could just let me do some races, pick a car,
How'd you like to earn a
keep
little
going,
cash just
and enjoy
driving
myself.
around?
No.
This magazine
Let me
asks us to
skip.
take some photos. You can see what
So
they
this
want
is
in
what I
your
meant
photo album.
with
It's
the
not
audio over the
mandatory,
interface.
but the
If
way
they could have
you
done that, that
roll
would have been
looks like
fine.
easy money.
And maybe later in the game, it's like that constantly. It will just... It will stop infantilizing you and just get on with it. But otherwise, I just hope that the game doesn't have quite a lot more of that. Of just, hey, you know, we can have these little seeds for no good reason. Well, that seems to be it for the crew. 2 beta, little look. Like on Rush, I think having a little dip into how the game is, especially with... They tend to front load these sort of games with, hey, this is what we're doing, to set sort of tone and also to hold your hand a little because you might not be familiar with it. But I think it actually, in my case, it alienates me more because it doesn't feel as casual and it feels like I'm going to be spending an awful lot of time staring at the menu rather than just enjoying the game as a racing game. Why I can't just say, you know, I finish a race, I go to the map, I pick a new point, within 10 seconds, within 10 seconds just get straight to doing something else and appreciating it. I think not enough games focus on just how casual they need to be for someone that, you know, they get in from work, they want to play a game and enjoy themselves. No, they have to watch 40 seconds of someone talking at them and then some loading, then a little spiel, and then you can race. It's like, get out the way. Let me play the sodding game. Yep. So what is even that? Is that a race I've done already? I don't understand. Off-road headquarters. I hit the track button, left on the D-pad. What's that gonna do? Oh, okay. So this is where I am in the world. Oh, replay, okay. Zoom in, zoom out. I hit L1. I'm not sure what that's going to do, but... So if I hit replay, is it going to show me the race I just did? It is, yeah. So I can hide that. How do I... Okay, so this is the race I did. Okay, it keeps changing the camera. I'm not hitting buttons there. How do I... Okay, I can... Okay, there appears to be no actual way of controlling the camera that I can see. I can pause it.
That's the photo app. With this, you can grab pictures and share them. Even better, you
how
can
do I go
capture moments
height?
for the photo album. And if the picture's a tough one
Rotate,
to take, don't worry.
camera up,
You can go
camera
back
down.
and forth on the timeline to find that one perfect moment.
That wheel looks like it's bent. Also, there's no shading on the car. This scene just looks very PlayStation 3. I know that sounds a bit insulting, but I mean, the shadows have that sort of low resolution quality to them. The trees in the distance are flickering. There's actual no shading on any of the trees, even the cactus that are really near. We saved a photo. I think that's going to be it for having a look at the crew. I can't say it's impressed me yet, but maybe there's more to the game. Okay, this is what bothers me in games. This vulture is reasonably detailed. And, you know, it's just flying. And I can't see it where I am in the car at all. Those cactus over there. They're... Okay, let's get to... That shadow... Right. Let's get to where I was. Of the objects in this scene that are catching my eye, it's the far terrain in the distance. That looks far too low poly. And the cactus that doesn't have any shadows. If they'd have put shadows there, I would have been absolutely fine if the vulture was just like a couple of polygons. Because I'm not going to actually want to come over here. However, I can come over here and look that they've modelled the vultures incredibly well for an arbitrary bit of data that's just floating around. But the scenery looks like buds. I think there's just not enough sense in, what's the actual visual aspect of the game? What are people going to stare at all the damn time? Look at the ground. You can see the little pebble texture they've cobbled in as a repeating texture to say, hey, this is the terrain type. Repeats so damn often, I'm looking at it going, that's the same stone every, 5 meters, I guess, measurement-wise. You can see this shared cluster. Okay, let's get a bit further in. Right. There is a square of 4 rocks that repeats twice on the screen that I can see. Also, that I have to say the L2 and R2 are backwards to my sense. To me, down would be R2, not up, and the same with L2. It would be inverted. It doesn't seem right. But stuff like the shadow for the car really should be not fixed on this camera. They should be fixed on that car. If the car's got a shadow, it should be on the car, not on the camera. Because if I'm going to be taking a screenshot, I'm going to be away from where the car is, but the car needs a shadow. I guess if I go over to the cactus, it's going to... Yeah, look. The shadows do have a contribution, but only when I'm over here. And that's the thing. I know that's expensive, but the way Drive Club did it, you could move around in a fairly okay quality scene, and when you paused, it would spend a bit more time to actually refine it and pull in some higher level of detail objects and just do some temporal accumulation, let's just say, of the scene to actually get a really well detailed soft edge scene. Whereas here, it's just I don't know. Ubisoft have got an awful lot of money in the same way that Sony does. They just too frequently put out games that, I don't know. I've been playing Assassin's Creed Unity this past week or two, and it's just been frustrating me how low quality the missions are compared to how it feels like they've spent a real decent amount of time making the world feel like, you know, Paris and Versailles and the rest. But then all the missions are generic and boring. I've had a couple of glitches where I've had my character like stuck floating in the air, or I can't descend off something, or I'm on a cable running on the spot because it can't work out where a terrain object is that I could grapple to. It just feels like they don't play the games and go, hey, this is an enjoyable experience. They go, what sort of stuff do we need to put in a game like this? And I don't know. The game has the quality of being a good game, of what I've played, but if it's got all the other sort of horse shite around it, it might not be. It might just be unfun and ticking a load of boxes like, hey, does it have this and this and this and this and this and this? Then it'll be a good game, TM. I mean, this feature, why would I want to replay of where I've driven unless it was really awesome? But the platform already has a share feature to save the video of what I just did. So it doesn't really need to necessarily remember where I've driven, beyond giving a really cool little, you know, this sort of breadcrumb trail of, this is a race you did across half of the state or 2 states or whatever. Okay, there's a person here that's racing that I don't know, or at least I don't think I know. What are they doing over here? They've parked a... Well, Necromancer, that's an interesting place that you're having a camp at the moment. But see what I mean? It's like they've been adding all these things in that... Why not just make a really cool racing game? See that, looking there at the vectors about here, you can see the sharp edges for that road. Yeah, seen that when I've messed around with OpenStreetMaps. You just get the low quality version of a street that's just, they're not focusing on what makes the street, how prominent corners are, how, yeah, that's a rough route, but you've not devoted enough quality in like this corner, so it's just a sharp 90-degree bend, or that looks more like 110. Yeah, I don't know. The game might be cool. I'm sure at some point, if I ever get it, I'll stream it a bit. yeah, that was a little look at the Crew 2 beta. Cheerio.